What's up, everybody? Tuesday, March the 30th, 2021. Things are rough in Raptor land. Shit. I had to take a line from my man Tosin Bello on that one. I can't believe what's happening, but I think that Raptors fans right now just need to be at peace. They need to accept some things. The run's over. This team has been a championship team, championship caliber team for a while, a 50-plus win team, I want to say for like 5 or 6 years. Ever since Dwayne Casey got here and things started going upwards, Raptors fans don't know, we don't really remember what it feels like to lose. And now we're doing a lot of that. 2 wins in their last 16 games. Zane messaged me yesterday and he said something, I have the quote right here. We're getting slapped by the Pistons right now. That was really, I think, the moment of realization that we all needed to come to and just kind of understand this team is not who we thought they were. We've lost, I guess, some guys like Norm's gone. We brought in Gary Trent Jr., who hasn't had the best start yet, but he's going to come around. They've looked okay. They haven't looked okay. They've looked absolutely terrible. Rodney Hood's come in. He's probably been one of their better players as of late. Norm's been solid. Fred has been shooting the ball really bad recently. We can use COVID. That's fine. Just like these guys right now, and just calling a spade, they're sitting in 11th place in the Eastern Conference, and a playoff run is looking unlikely, and a playoff spot, to be honest, at this point is looking unlikely. That being said, I think that sometimes you just need to evaluate things and call them as they are. There's going to be absolutely no insight on this game. I'm not going to, teach you how to guard someone who's a little bit bigger than you are, how to attack a pick and roll either on offense or defense. Not happening. Like I said, I wanted to come on here today, a little touch point, and kind of ask Raptors fans to alter their expectations of this team, because people have been, being positive, and that's great. I'm more of a realist, and I said that from the beginning. They started off, I believe it was like 1-5. Things didn't look great. They had some stretches, and being honest, once again, COVID came in, and there's no way for us to really tell how the Raptors would be after that COVID spell hit them. They were definitely trending upwards, but fact is that they have not been the same ever since, and none of their players, to be honest, have looked great. Norm's not on the team anymore, so we're not going to count him. OG's probably been their most consistent player all year. I believe he had like 19 and 8 yesterday. He's been solid. I don't even want to forecast wins. Simply what I do is I'll look ahead at the schedule right now. OKC Thunder, Warriors, Wizards, Lakers. I'll be like, oh, there's a possible win, there's a loss. All bets are off the table. Like, they might lose. They might go on another 2 for 16. For anybody to say that's unrealistic, I don't really think it is. Are they more likely to go maybe about 500 ball to close off? For sure. There's just, honestly, there's way too many teams for them to jump. Yeah, sure, they have OKC coming up. OKC just got slapped by Dallas yesterday. But Dwayne Casey has these guys' numbers in Detroit, and Detroit is one of the worst teams in the league. We know that. They play hard. They play hard, great. But like the Raptors have more talent than a lot of these teams are just not showing it. Malachi Flynn so far, I was talking with Zane again yesterday, and I was saying he looks like he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't have that confidence level yet. And that's fine, because when we look at guys that the Raptors brought into the G League team, guys like Norm, 2nd round, Malachi Flynn, late 1st round, Pascal, late 1st round, even OG, I believe he got some time there, and Fred was the other guy I'm thinking of. All those guys didn't really get significant minutes in their first year. I know that Pascal started a little bit in his tenure with the Raptors, and then was kind of sent to the doghouse by Casey, and then eventually sent to the D League, at the time the D League, now the G League. But I think it's just too early. I don't want to write off Malachi Flynn, because I think that he's going to be a really solid NBA player. Like I said, I just think that right now it's a little bit too early to get into writing players off, and we have to be patient with these guys, because few guys are going to come in like as a rookie or first-year player, even if they're a little bit older, and have that immediate impact. Right now, I think it's just kind of like talent evaluation for the Raptors going forward towards the end of the season. Kyle, like I said, last year going in, he might come back next year. I think it's kind of unlikely. The Raptors are going to give him market value. If he does come back, it's going to be on a team-friendly deal. And that's pretty much it. I'll run through the standings quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on this, because so right now they're in 11th, and sure, Chicago's only a game up on them in 10th place, but Raptors have 3 more losses and 1 less win. So they are still 2 games back of that. And Chicago made some big deals at the deadline, right? They brought in some guys, Vucevic, a guy that would probably be the Raptors' leading scorer right now. So they're going to take time to adjust, but I think that Chicago is definitely a better team. Maybe not defensively, but they're a better squad. This year they're a better squad anyways. Raptors, like I said, I don't want to keep living in the past saying, oh, this team's going to bounce back. We're going to have guys come here. It's not the same team anymore. And we need to accept that, or else there's going to be a lot of heartbreak. And the analogy that I kind of used is talking with Igor, and if you go on a date with someone and you kind of have these expectations that, you know, you're really high and you're like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And all of a sudden you get there and you're like, ugh. I thought that was going to go better. Like, they're not really what I expected. I just think that when you change that mentality, you're going into things and you're like, okay, like, let me go clean slate, no expectations. If anything happens, cool. That's what we need to do with the Raptors at this point. It's pretty much a blind date with these guys every game. I don't know what's going to happen. It might be incredible. It might be a train wreck, but I'm going to get on the train right now, get on the GO train, get on the ride and see what happens when I get off. Might be roller coaster ride. Might be up, might be down. But right now, like I said, I don't know what to expect. Teams ahead of the Raptors, Chicago, Indy, two teams that are both better. And then when you actually get to the playoff spots, at 8, Miami, much better team, healthier. Boston getting their groove back. Atlanta's really turned it around since they fired their coach, Lloyd Pierce. And then Knicks, believe it or not, Charlotte's in 4th place. I don't know how, but they are. Only 23 and 22, Miami 23 and 24. So we know that the playoff race is very tight. Top 3 teams are untouchable with Philly, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. And I think now, at first we were saying if the Raptors somehow play Milwaukee in the first round, they have a shot. With Norm gone and just this team, the cohesiveness not really there, I don't think that's realistic anymore. Pascal, shout out to him. He's been pretty good. He was their best player, and I didn't watch much of the Detroit game because I didn't really want to. It got ugly, and I didn't want to watch it. But the game before that, he looked really good in a tough loss. And obviously, Brooklyn looks like they might not be touched in the East and maybe the whole playoff run. And Philly, with Embiid out, they're still really winning a lot of games. If the Raptors have any chance, I guess they're going to hope to get into a playoff game, a play-in game, win that play-in game, and then they're going to have their hands full with either Philly or Brooklyn, which will be a bit of a disaster. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up. I just wanted to get in here and talk to you guys about tempering your expectations of this team, because if you've watched enough games, I've talked with people that have been watching Raptors for a while, a lot of people are even tuning into games anymore. And that's fine. I understand. And when I first started, this would have been my 6th year having Raptors season tickets. I always kind of wonder going to games, Leafs, Raptors, any sport, any follower of a team. I kind of wondered, I was like, how do you get so emotionally invested into a team? And if you spend enough time watching them and, you know, investing in the good and the bad times, especially when you've rode such a high with the Raptors for, like I said, 6 or 7 years now, it is really rough to watch this team, not only as they dissipate and guys move on to, you know, other trades or free agency losses, which might happen again, will happen again this season. It's really tough because you want to hold on to the memories. But what I was speaking with a few friends about is most of the people at least listening to this podcast, you're old enough to have really cherished the time that the Raptors had on top of the NBA world when we won a title. Because, you know, Italy won the World Cup and I was 17 or something. And I don't have too many like vivid memories. I remember going crazy and stuff, but with Toronto, this is a team that everybody got behind with the Raptors. You watch them grow, and even people that didn't really follow basketball, like my parents are not big basketball fans, but they were in for the playoff run. They got to the finals and they're really tuned in to see what was happening. So we saw the highest of high, and we really need to be thankful for that and very appreciative to the Raptors and the players. And that's why it hurt so much when Norm went, because Kyle too, like Kyle's been here for a long time, but Norm, I guess, only spent his career with the Raptors. And that's why I kind of associated that with, it was a little bit tougher because, like I said, we really watched Norm grow from a second round guy that we got from the Grievous Vasquez trade and a first round pick in OG. And I believe there was another piece in that trade to after you look at it, and you're like, wow, this guy's been with us forever. I remember with Norm when he came in the league when he couldn't shoot. And Leo made that comparison as well. Like both Norm and DeRozan, when they came in the league, couldn't hit any shots. Even the free throws look very rough as guys that are both, you know, like 6'4" and 6'6" respectively. But I remember saying a few years ago, I was like, yo, like Norm has potential, because at that point he was further along the curve than DeRozan was. And I saw the comparisons, both super, super athletic. And both, you know, I would say 2s or 3s, shooting guards, small forwards. Not great defenders. Norm's definitely a better defender than DeRozan was. But I was like, maybe we can get another DeRozan on this team in Norm. And, you know, like, I know that Norm hasn't made an all-star team and he probably won't reach that level. But at least we know that this is a guy that you can trust, because Masai and the team with scouting and drafting, they've done such a good job finding gems late first round, mid first round. They haven't really had any busts. I guess you can think that of this regime, the worst draft pick that I can think of that still got paid, you know, like 40, 50 million and still an NBA starter is Jakob Poeltl. And that was a lottery pick that I know Igor didn't love. But still, like, as long as you're not missing on first round picks, and especially NFL, but sticking to basketball, if you get a draft pick and you're making these guys contributors on your team, you've done your job. You're not going to hit on every guy because a lot of times you're shooting for the ceiling. They don't reach that. Pirtle was a safe pick that they took. And like I said, I just have faith in this team going forward because I know that, and Raptors fans, again, need to understand that you're not going to, win the draft lottery in the playoffs every year. And we're not LA or Miami or even New York where they got random, where you're going to get free agents signing. Let's sit back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's saying, oh, don't tank, don't tank. We're not tanking. This team right now is just too bad to keep, winning games at the rate that they've been winning them at for the last 5 or 6 years. And now we're really seeing that with Bobby and Masai kind of stripping a few of these guys down, trading Norm out for Gary Trent Jr., who at least is restricted that the Raptors can match his deal next year. And I believe Rodney Hood has another year under contract or a player option, that he's definitely going to opt into since he's coming off the Achilles tear. Which just gives the guys more control, the team more control. And Rodney Hood, a lot of people kind of forgot about him in the deal. And at least before, and now you're kind of seeing it. And I was saying, hey, like, this is a guy that's, 6'8", can handle the ball a little bit. He's a serviceable player. You don't have to put in Watanabe or Watson. And no disrespect to them, but like Rodney Hood was a first-round pick. Those other guys were not. He went to Duke. He had, a pretty decent resume. And this is just adding depth to the team as opposed to, we've seen guys like, whether it be COVID or just injuries, Fred, Pascal, Kyle, like these guys miss time. At least those guys can come in and they'll get you 15, 16 points if they have to. Whereas those other guys that I mentioned, they're really just, like 12th men on the roster, just trying to buy some minutes to get your bench guys or your better bench guys, or your starters in on the team, back in the game, sorry. That being said, that's it for today. Looking forward to next podcast, which is going to be in just a few days. 5 days, going to have, obviously, the return of Lamar Grant. Igor Henriquez is going to be sitting with me on this podcast. We're going to talk about what's going on in the league with respect to Brooklyn and the Lakers signing all these bio guys in the free agent market. And then also, obviously, the trending topics in the NBA, how teams are doing, who we're liking going to the playoff race, and assessing the trades that have happened. So for that, I'll see you guys on Saturday. Have a great week. And Raptors against OKC tomorrow. They need to win that one.